Paramore are back, baby. Let's talk about This Is Why.
Or do we kick things off with James, or do we finish things with James?
Let's get it out of the way, I think.
Yeah.
Let's get it out of the way. Fuck. Okay. Positives and negatives. Let's start with positives.
What was the positive?
There's a lot. I really enjoy the mix of the instruments, in particular the drums. I think it sounds really nice and unique. It's minimalistic, and it made me feel like I'm sat behind the kit and behind the most basic drum setup. The way it's been produced, the bass drum, the snare drum, the hi-hat tones that are there with it have a very distinct sound that stands it apart, I think, from a lot of music. And it makes, just like those drums and the hi-hats as the cymbals, sound very much to me like individual instruments. It doesn't sound like, oh, this is a drum performance. It feels like you've got your guitar, you've got your bass, you've got your bass drum, you've got your snare. The way it's all there in the balance.
Yeah. He's all over the kit. Yeah.
It's unique, and I can't really pinpoint or compare that to anything. And the same with guitar tone. I really loved that, and it sounded nice. However, then the song as a whole just didn't appeal to me. As soon as it kind of came together, aside from the instrumentals, tying it all together, I felt like I expected more in a way, and it just didn't turn out to be something that resonated with me in terms of it being like a big comeback song as a whole.
I think you used the word expecting, or the phrase expecting more, and I think that's where this song kind of suffers a little bit. After all the kind of interviews and stuff where they've been teasing their return, it kind of implied, or maybe we incorrectly assumed that it meant there was going to be a return to kind of emo Paramore, or there'd be at least a bit of a punch to it, which is why this song's a bit frustrating to me, because it's carried by some really, really fun drumming, some pretty cool, funky, almost like 1975 style guitar, and like the world's most infuriatingly catchy chorus. But the rest of it just feels so Radio 1.
Yep.
And I mean that in the sense of like, I feel like a lot of Radio 1 listeners are just like, they'll just stick on the radio and like, oh, this has got a nice beat to it. Greg James is quite nice. I find him really attractive. And then, yeah, they don't really think too much more about the music. They'll just feel the beat, which is fine. It's not a bad song, but it leaves a lot to be desired, I think.
See, I loved it. Like, don't get me wrong, I think I had the initial response that a lot of people had of like, I was a bit standoffish to the song, but it grew on me massively. I think taking the step, because I think we were all, yeah, like you said, we all sort of assumed what it was going to be.
Which is our own fault, by the way. We shouldn't have assumed.
But actually, I think, like, given the like pop punk revival that's happened over the last few years with like the Travis Barker project and all his little minions doing his bidding, I don't know. I just think like it would have been a really safe option for them to just churn out like a pop punk or like an emo thing. I think like it's reflected in the lyrics, like the lines like, you're either with us or you can keep it to yourself, and like if you have an opinion maybe you should shove it. I think it's almost them just like a sort of a healthy like disrespect of like, well, if you want like something else, get it somewhere else, because we're not going to do that. Which I like. And I think just like musically, like we said about the drumming, but I think like all the layers that are in the song are really interesting to listen to.
You make a very important point there, which I think is going to be the theme of this podcast. And let's just kick this off already here. If you're not happy with the music someone's putting out, there is always other music by them you can go back and listen to.
Or other bands.
Other bands. But there's always the older stuff there. Yeah. There's alternative. So just keep that, because I think that is going to be a running theme throughout today.
But yeah, I mean, I liked it. They said in an interview that they've their recent influences have been Foals and Block Party. I've said it 100 times, Block Party are fucking sick. So any band that's...
You can hear the Block Party, yes.
And they're taking Block Party on tour with them around the UK.
Yes. Huge dub. I can't wait. I might go. But, yeah, I just really liked it. I think it was just a really, really interesting way to take things. And like Dan said, huge chorus. Like, addictive chorus.